Thanksgiving weekend was very good to Utah HC. They come out with a big shutout win. We'll talk about that and the rookie goalie who stepped up with Robyn Leano of Locked On Utah HC next on today's Locked On NHL podcast.
You're Locked On NHL, your daily podcast on the National Hockey League. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Gil Martin here, and welcome everybody to the Monday edition of the Locked On NHL podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I want to thank everyone who makes Locked On NHL your first listen every day. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts so you get new episodes as soon as they drop. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. It is my pleasure to welcome back to the show the co-host of Locked On Utah HC, Robyn Leano. And Robyn, a very nice holiday weekend for Utah HC, a 6-0 shutout win over the Vegas Golden Knights. And A, were you surprised by this? And B, what did they do to make it happen?
It certainly was, a bit of a surprise. I think someone made the joke on X that said if you had Utah, I think after the first period, beating Vegas 4-0 on your bingo card, you'd be lying because no one expected that. We're talking Vegas, one of the best teams in the Pacific Division right now, versus Utah, who's been struggling a lot. They've lost a lot of their games. Mainly have been letting a lot of goals pass and having a lot of defensive struggles. A blue line that's essentially broken. But they found a way to win. They got a little bit of the confidence back, finding who they needed, and also doing it off the coattails of a rookie goaltender, nonetheless. But hey, when you get that leadership back, getting the offense, though, I think that's what the team needed.
Jaxson Stauber making his Utah HC debut, 29 save shutout. I mean, were you surprised, A, that he got the start, and B, that he played so well?
Definitely not surprised he got the start because Connor Ingram out with a minor injury. He's kind of day-to-day, so they needed a goaltender to bring up. Karel Vejmelka had started in the previous game against the Edmonton Oilers. Because it's essentially like a back-to-back, they didn't want to start Veggie in again. They realized that you don't want to have to put the risk of injuring your 1B goaltender, so they had to make that quote calculated risk. Bring Jaxson Stauber in, and looks like that risk paid off. Not only getting his for NHL debut, but getting his Utah Hockey Club debut, but also his first career NHL shutout. I mean, that's an amazing accomplishment in just one game to do that in the NHL.
What did the defense core, which, as you mentioned, has been struggling, what did they do differently in this game to help get this shutout?
I feel like it's one thing is definitely a confidence thing. And looking at this team, and because how broken they are, they've been struggling in the confidence. Maverick Lamoureux is out 4 to 6 weeks. Sean Dursey is out until at least maybe like February or March. John Marino out until like January, February. So you got a lot of crucial individuals who are out. But the next guy stepped up, Robert Bortuzzo stepping up. But I would say even more so in Mikhail Sergachev. Mikhail Sergachev has proven that he is the guy, the defenseman to really watch out for in this Utah Hockey Club blue line. And definitely, I mean, it's looking great doing it. He's controlling that blue line. He's filtering the pucks to the net when he needs to, making sure that it stays in the zone, doing everything as you really would hope to see out of defenseman, which not to put all the rest of the defense down, but it's been a little bit lacking still.
One area that Utah has struggled with has been special teams, both the power play and the PK. What's going on, and how can they fix these problems?
Well, I think when it comes to the PK, first and foremost, and I mean, you're not going to have a great PK percentage when you're the most penalized team in the National Hockey League. I think that's first and foremost is one, cleaning up your game. There are some penalties out there those are penalties which those are smart penalties. You need to take ones like those. But then there are other ones in which just, simple delay of game penalties or too many men penalties. There are ones that are, a desperation because you made a really bad stretch pass. So you have to, you're figuring out what to do on the back end on that back check. Those aren't going to work well for you. So, and it's shown when they go down that many penalties, go down that many times, you're not going to get them. They're not going to get the momentum. Penalty kill has shown that, and how many times they did it. They get, and I think that's what's hurt their confidence multiple times. And they don't get and they don't. And that is also is going to go to that power play. They're not going to get enough on the power play. Their confidence is still down. Most of the time, if they're on the power play, they're probably still chasing the game. So it just, for them, all it really needs to take is to take a little moment to step back. Maybe it's someone like Clayton Keller or Nick Schmaltz or Lawson Cross, someone who's wearing an A, or Mikhail Sergachev, he wears an A every now and then. One of those players, just, step in either in a locker room or on the bench to say, hey, let's take a step back and let's realize what we have going here. We have an opportunity if we're on the power play, or we have to do a really important kill here. Let's take advantage of this.
Got to ask about Logan Cooley and his development. Seems to be very productive this year. What do you see as far as, him getting more used to the NHL and blossoming into the player that people thought he could be?
Yeah, Logan Cooley's been fantastic. I think one of the important things in the very first few games of Logan Cooley, and I think it even showed in the beginning of this season, is seeing that he had an unwillingness to take the puck himself and be the selfish guy every now and then and take a shot. He kind of deferred to the veterans, and he would take a pass when he didn't need to take a pass. And sometimes it kind of broke the momentum. And I feel like he's getting his own confidence there, and he's realizing he just needs to be smart and be in the right place at the right time. And he's one of those guys that can take a shot. He is a fantastic playmaker and a great goal scorer. Just take advantage of that.
This team has now been in Salt Lake for 2 months of the actual regular season. What has the impact been on the community, and what has this move meant for this organization?
Oh, I think it's been a fantastic move. I feel like a lot of these players have they're brave. They're breathing, a bit of a sigh of relief. They don't have to worry about any of the other cloud of what's happening around in Arizona or what's going on between the ownership. They're able to focus on just the hockey. No one's asking them all those other questions. Maybe now the only questions they get asked that's not hockey is like, hey, have you adjusted to Salt Lake City, or it's like, hey, now that you're here for a little bit, what's been your favorite, restaurant, whatever. They've been joking around a little bit, having a lot more fun. And it really it's impacted the community. They seem happy there. The fans seem really excited. Take a look, for example, on the day when they first started selling jerseys only a few weeks back. They didn't set the record, but they were like the second most, and I think the last year in this year or whatever it was, of NHL merchandise sale in a single day. Only, tied only to, I think last couple years, I guess, because only tied only to the Vegas Golden Knights Stanley Cup championship clincher, just a little over a year ago.
Very impressive. So what is one thing besides getting healthy that this team needs to do better to get back into the playoff hunt?
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier, and I'm gonna keep hammering this one at this as a major point. Is they just need to get their confidence back. They realize that this is a team that has all the tools, even on the this offense. It's an incredibly goal potent offense that for a while didn't really have a massive scoring job. For that game against Vegas, they just could not score goals as much as you'd expect them to. They need to get that confidence back and realize that they're one of the better goal-scoring teams in the league. They need to show that. So until they realize that, get that confidence back, I feel like it might be a little more struggle, but when they do, I think they can kind of get right back into it.
All right, Robyn, why don't you tell our viewers and our listeners where they could find the podcast and where they could find you and your co-host on social media?
Yeah, you can find us on X at @LO_NHL Utah. The podcast is also on Blue Sky. You can follow us at Locked On Utah Hockey. I'm personally at Robyn_Leano on X and Robyn Ice Time on Blue Sky. Tom Callahan is at Callahan on Air on X and at Tom Talks on Blue Sky.
All right, Robyn, thank you so much, and always great to talk hockey with you.
Of course. Thanks, Gil.
Today's episode is brought to you by your friends at Prize Picks. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. Join over 10 million users and sign up today. Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. This week at Prize Picks, all you have to do is pick whether or not certain players will go over or under their Prize Picks estimates. For example, Jack Hughes for more than 4 shots on goal, or Artemi Panarin for more than 1 assist. Check out all the latest odds at Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONNHL, and you'll get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the Prize Picks app. Use code LOCKEDONNHL, and you'll get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game.